I've got a feeling that this is going to take some business away from the Boston 12 because of just how similar it is. So a couple runs done and dusted in this one. This is the Adidas Adizero SL2, and these are my first impressions. But before we get into it, and if you guys want to support this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Right, so checking out our quick specs here, it's marketed as a neutral daily trainer. Now coming in at an amazing price point, so especially here in Australia, it's rare that you get shoes this cheap, $180, $130 in the US. Amazing weight as well, 238 grams, 8.4 ounces in your men's size 9. Now in the stack, pretty generous stack here as well. So we got 27 in the front, 36 in the rear. That's giving us a 9mm drop. And in the upper, so the material that they're using is an engineered mesh, and it's pretty much feels like a single layer. However, it's a different material to what they use in the other Adizero series. So it's a lot more soft and compliant, and it actually hugs the foot a lot better, and it's a lot more comfortable. Now in our heel counter, we've got a pretty structured heel counter here. It doesn't have a solid cap or anything, but there's a little bit of structure there, as you can see. Now padding, generous amount of padding around the heel collar here, which I absolutely love to see in the Adizero shoe. So I think this is, I absolutely love how they've done this around the heel padding here. Certainly much better than what you're going to find in the performance version, so the Boston and the Pro. Yeah, really love this. And that padding, we've got a nice amount of padding as well that goes into the tongue. So the padding goes all the way down to the tongue. The tongue is not gusseted, but very comfortable. We've got their really thin fiddly laces, which I'm not too fond of. Lockdown in this shoe, so one shoe for me is really, really good, and I'm getting a little bit of heel slip in another shoe, but that's just up to me to play around with the laces at this early stage, but I'm not too worried about that. Now the fit in this shoe, I'm going to say true to size in the length. I did see a report somewhere that it comes up a little bit short, and I think one of my feet, it does come up maybe a smidge short, but I wouldn't go up half a size. True to size for me is good to go. And I think the toe box is quite generous as well. So it's probably on the normal to wide side. So really like that as well. Build quality, pretty good as well here, especially for a $180 shoe. But the comfort of this upper, really nice. It's probably the most comfortable upper that I've tried in the Adizero series. So in the outsole here, lots and lots of rubber here on the outsole here, and the tread pattern is quite similar to what you may have seen on the previous model or what you used on the other Adizero series. However, it's not the Continental rubber. But is the Continental rubber actually needed in this shoe? Well, my first run in this shoe just yesterday, I ran in really wet conditions and on those wet boardwalks as well, and that brings some of the best grip shoes undone. So they always slip on a wet boardwalk, but this thing didn't falter. So really amazing grip in the wet conditions. What it is though, it did feel a little bit slappy straight out of the box because it was a little bit stiff. But apart from that, the grip, absolutely excellent. It don't really need the Continental rubber. Durability, I don't see any issues with it at this early stage either. And in the midsole here, so a bit of a dual density thing going on. So they've got their premium super foam in this shoe, their Lightstrike Pro, so they use that in all their racing models, their premium models, which is amazing. So it's full length, so you can actually see it through the bottom here. They've got little windows where you can see that Lightstrike Pro going. You can see it through here, and then you can also see it through this little window down at the back, and you can actually feel it in this shoe. And that is encased in the carrier foam, and they're using just their Lightstrike foam for that. So that's their EVA blend foam. But overall, it's quite nice. So you can actually, a lot of the time, carrier foams can pretty much destroy any type of super foam that they put in it, but you can feel it in this one, which is really, really nice. Now internally, this shoe does not have any of Adidas's energy rods or their carbon infused rods. So this shoe has definitely got some flexibility there. Now in the geometry as well, we've got a little bit of a forefoot rocker here, but to me the ride feels more traditional. Right, so in the ride, so I've just had a couple runs in this one. Now straight out of the box, it actually felt quite stiff and it felt slappy. However, I think I've seen this is probably the quickest transformation in a shoe, or the quickest break in of a shoe that I've ever tried, because after about a K or so, yeah, it got its bend, it's got its flex, and then I could feel the softness, and I could feel the bounce, and I could feel the Lightstrike Pro. So then I could feel what the reports are coming in as, because there's lots of really good reports about this shoe. And yes, I could certainly feel it. So really nice amount of softness in this shoe, and there is a good amount of bounce there with the Lightstrike Pro, and there is a good amount of responsiveness as well. So I think they've done really well, and I still really can't believe the price point and how this shoe feels. The more I run in this shoe, so as the kilometers built up, it feels better and better and better. So each run, it's softening up, it's getting more bounce, and it's just a really fun ride, which again, in a $180 shoe, you don't expect this at all. So for me, it feels very similar to the Boston 12. So similar, I had to come home and put the Boston 12 on alongside this shoe and have a little jog as well, just to see the difference in this shoe. And this shoe certainly feels like it's got more guts in the midsole. So it's certainly softer in the heel of the Boston. So this one feels like it's got more foam and it sits you up a little bit higher, but obviously this one is a lot newer than that. But very similar ride to the Boston. It's still, though, a little bit slappy on the concrete, but obviously that is improving after each run. And due to its weight, it feels really agile on the foot, so you do feel like you can pick up the pace in it. It does feel really nice at jogging, however, I do think it feels a little better when you put a little bit more pace in it. So not that really slow, sluggish feeling. When you put a little bit of steady pace into it, I think you can feel more bounce and more responsiveness. But overall, as I said, it's getting better with age, this shoe. So likes in this shoe so far. So firstly, the price, unbelievable price. I love the weight, and I also love the upper. Certainly the best upper in the Adizero series. And what I'm still figuring out is the ride, so I'm trying to find where its real happy place is. Is it a more of a jogging shoe, or does it like to go up in those tempo paces? I think it's very versatile, but I'm still working out where its real happy place is. And dislikes in this shoe, nothing really, but if I have to say something, it's probably these little thin fiddly laces. Right, so just wrapping up my first thoughts here, so even at this early stage, I think it's probably the best value running shoe that's currently on the market. It's rare that you can get a shoe that actually feels really good to run in. It's got super foam in it at that price point. So that is absolutely amazing work. Well done there, Adidas. Let's hope the other shoe companies follow suit with that. I think it's going to be a solid daily trainer for a lot of people. I think it's going to work for a lot of people. But I've got a feeling that this is going to take some business away from the Boston 12 because of just how similar it is. That's just my feeling, but I think that this shoe can do, or is going to be able to do, anything that you can do in the Boston and pretty much feel really close to that performance. But anyway, guys, that is it from me. Those are my first impressions on this shoe. Lots and lots of testing to go. I am really enjoying this shoe. I'm enjoying it, watching it come alive for me. But again, lots more testing. So interested to hear your thoughts on my first impressions of the Adidas SL2. If you've got any questions about my time so far or how it compares to anything else in this early stage, please just let me know in the comments below. Always love to read those. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.